Okay, gang, we are going to make a Brigid's cross. So, very, very simple. Just grab yourself some paper. You're going to cut it up. Take one piece, cut it up into 4 strips like so. And you're going to take each strip and you're going to fold it in half like so, right? So, I know this sounds very easy, but actually it can be a little bit complex making this design. So, we're not going to do any writing just yet. Let's just get everything folded. All right, Brigid's crosses, by the way, are usually put up around the home this time of year for protection and warding. So you're going to take your first strip here, okay? Take your second strip. We're going to put it through just like so. We're just going to lace it together just like that, okay? Very simple. Take your third strip. You're going to lace that, just shove it in between there. We're going to pull it about so, about right there-ish. You're going to take your fourth strip. This is where I get confused. We're going to go ahead, we're going to lace that through, and we're going to pull that through, right? Whew, we got so much going on now. So we're going to pull these tight. Now, I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I tend to, once I get them together, maybe staple them to hold them in place. It's helpful for me. Anyway, very, very basic paper Brigid's cross. Now, what do we do with this? We're going to write some goals on it. So I'll show you my example from earlier. You know, I look at the 5 corners of health, you know, physical, sexual, spiritual, emotional, mental. You know, my physical realm, good health, continue to work towards my weight loss goal. In my sexual health, you know, being more sexually sensitive to my partner, right? Maybe not being quite so dominating. In emotional health, stabilization of mood. Mental health, I put insight enhancement, clarity. Spiritual health, I'm working on yogini activations. And then, you know, let's look at some of the other realms of energy, like our pro-life energy. Pro-life and money acquisition go hand in hand. So you have your financial health, which is your money acquisition, retention, and investment. And then you have your pro-life. Your pro-life is everything connected to learning, academics, education, jobs, industry that you're in, career goals, entrepreneurship. So it all kind of works together. So for my example, I put business success, new clients, money grows, sales grow. Okay, so now once we have our cross together, we have our goals are that we would like Brigid to bless us with some assistance in written out. What I like to do is I like to just kind of set a few intentions by holding it, kind of transmuting that energy into the paper cross. I typically will have some candles burning, and I will, and you don't need anything fancy here, you guys. Just regular old candle will do. Just a little bit of candle wax here to seal it up. And then I might place some implements in there. Some mustard seeds for protection. Some mugwort for intuition and spiritual growth. Some juniper berries for sexual health, physical health, endurance. Can't forget that money, right? Gotta always have that money coming in. Some stars, because I want my Leo rising to shine this year. Do whatever you want. You know, luck. Little dice here for some luck. Do whatever feels right for you. Again, sometimes I'll let this sit on my altar overnight, and then in the morning, I will maybe burn it in a sacred fire, a bonfire, or an altar fire. I might even seal it again, you know, depending on, you know, how long you're going to let it sit. I'm just kind of using this as an example. I might do some more sealing here as I set my intentions in my mind. And there we have it. A very basic, very simple Brigid's cross that you can make at home tonight to solicit support from Brigid. Hey, so on St. Brigid's Eve, it is pretty common in Irish families to not only smother the fire, but really smooth out the ashes before going to bed. And that is because it is believed that Brigid walks the earth at night. And so in the morning, when the family wakes up, they look to see if there's been footprints or any kind of tracks left by Brigid visiting them. So one of the things that these families will do is put out a piece of cloth or clothing to be blessed by Brigid. That clothing is then brought in the morning. It's left out overnight, of course, and it's used for healing, protection. It's held on to when somebody is sick or dealing with heartbreak or heartache. It's also sewn into clothing for that healing and protection. So it has a special name. It's called Brat Bhride. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I believe it's pronounced Brat Bhride. So yeah, it's a very interesting, kind of folk tale, but a lot of people in Ireland still to this day practice this. So that happens tonight. Other things I wanted to tell you about St. Brigid's Eve. Boy, I think that was it. Let me double check my notes. The leaving of the clothing or the cloth is symbolic of her cloak. It's that magic mantle, which is why it absorbs or transmutes that healing or protective energy. So yeah, I just thought it was something I would share with you guys, something interesting. If you have Irish ancestry, you might want to consider doing something like this tonight. You might want to consider making that Brigid's cross tonight. Maybe, burn it in a sacred fire in the morning, bury it in the yard, hang it up in the home for protection for the next couple of weeks or for the next month. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, definitely hit me up, but stay magical and happy St. Brigid's Eve.